If you want to sound like a professional musician, you need a better understanding of harmony. But here's the thing, I'm not going to tell you what chords to play. In this video, I'm going to show you how you can think through harmony so you can improvise in real time. And I guarantee you, if you start thinking this way, your playing will level up instantly. My name is Lance, and on this channel I post my original music, teaching videos, Ableton videos, whatever interests me. If you feel like any of this helps you, please hit the like button and subscribe. What separates amateurs from pros is not gear, chops, or speed. It is decision making. The important part with a pro mindset is that if they do something wrong, they can justify it. For example, if I want to go from F minor to E flat major 7, I can go F minor to D flat 7 sharp 11 and then go to E flat. And that's because it's part of the backdoor cadence, so I don't have to just pick one of those two chords, the A flat minor 7 to D flat 7. I can just pick one of them and use it, and even voice it in a way where it works. F minor 9, and then D flat 7 sharp 11 over F, and then to E flat major 9. There you go. So, in essence, a pro can make a mistake or is thinking about a certain way of doing things, but can improvise in the moment. Maybe they're thinking about something that's so common, but they do it in a different way. For example, what I just did there, instead of playing the whole backdoor cadence, I started thinking in lines. F, A flat, E flat, and G make the F minor 9, and then if I switch it to F, B, D flat, and G, that's the D flat 7 sharp 11 in first inversion, and then all those notes go down to E flat major 7, or E flat major 9 really. So let's do that one more time. F minor 9, D flat 7 sharp 11 over F, and then for extra credit you can do F sharp 7 over E, and then slide that down a half step, and then E flat major 9. What I'm trying to tell you is the difference between an amateur and a pro is that I can think my way through these chord progressions and come up with new ways on the spot. Not based on any theory, but I see the notes in my head and I see the lines moving to each other and how each note can voice lead and how each note can mean different things for different chords. So that means you can apply different things wherever you are. It's really interesting. So I would say to get to that point, the main thing is to stop thinking of chords as shapes. I think that holds a lot of guitar players back because shape to shape to shape means you're always going to play like this. Which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. That's how songs go. But what we really want is the understanding so we can take the song to the next level and do whatever we want with it. So there are basic substitutions that everybody can use, such as the tritone substitution. So F minor, 9, E7 to E flat major 7. But what you could also do is treat them as clusters. Apologies, this is video 2 because my camera died. So what I was trying to say was that if you take this cluster of fourths, this is B flat, E flat, and A flat, and I'm thinking of it as part of F minor 7, and then you move it up a half step and put it over B flat, and then you move it up another half step and put it over E flat, then you get E flat 6/9. Because I'm thinking of it in lines, I immediately have a new source of movement. Instead of always down, I can go. So that's just another way to think of it. And that applies everywhere. And those notes aren't really in B flat 7 either. I mean, B, E, and A in a B flat chord just doesn't really compute. Some people would say that's a B sus over B flat. I don't know how I would think about that, but I just know that it's going there. And so the function of that chord is what's important, but it's going to E flat. So that's why you can make it work. Does that make sense? And if you break the rules in that fashion, then you're going to be able to do a lot more than you previously would have. That's because you're not adhering to any sort of harmony rule book or something that somebody else told you is correct. You're simply knowing where you're going, and that informs everything. For example, in this song I like to play a lot, Luzes do Rio, there's a part that goes, Luis Bonfa wants to get to the 5 chord. So instead of going, you can actually just approach it with chromatic sus chords. And the reason for that is he knows where he's landing, which in this case is a B7 sus 4 or a B7 sus 4 add 13. Since you know that you're going to go there, you can just immediately go from D sharp, E flat all the way down. Sounds pretty cool. There it is. So and then stop here. Instead of this chord, this C7 sus is actually functioning the same way because all those notes are leading chromatically down. It's kind of an interesting concept, right? Because normally we'd be told to go to G7 13 and then go down to the 2 minor. But you can also just skip the 2 minor and go to 5 sus indefinitely by just using chromatic. So very cool sound as opposed to very cool. So there's just more options. I'm thinking of this in the way of each chord or each note has its own line. That's why I can put any chord where I so choose, and it's not really about which chord is right or what chord is in the song. It's about where I hear and where I'm landing. So tension and release is really calculated in that fashion. You can follow lines through chords, and that will also really help you reharmonize things. For example, the 2-5-1 E flat, and we go F minor, but we want to follow this line. So that's G, F, and G. If you want to follow that line through a 2-5, it's pretty simple. F minor 9, D diminished, acting as B flat 7, and then back to E flat, major 7 with a third on the top. That's a pretty easy guitar bass line. What about, I did the answer too fast. You know, how do I follow that through it? That was one way that just came to mind. So I am using some chromatics there. In my mind, I'm thinking F minor, E7, B flat sus, B flat 7 sharp 11, B flat sus, and then B flat 7 flat 9, and then back to E flat. So that's a mouthful. That's a real mouthful, but I don't really think of it like that, and it's kind of hard. I'm thinking of these notes moving in clusters throughout those chords. And that already added a lot of movement to my playing. That's kind of a particularly complicated one too. I mean, if we just took a 2-5 and wanted to keep this, the 9 of the 2 chord, the 13 of the 5 chord, and then the 3 of the major 7, if you want to get some easy movement and follow another guide tone, let's follow the 7th starting here on F minor 9. So that's the E flat. And that just accentuates the movement of those 2 chords. So already it's possible to come up with infinite options. And these are just from a couple examples that I've made up right now. No rehearsal. You need to know where you're going because that'll change everything. You can put random chords because you know where you're going. It matters where you land, not how you get there. So I'd encourage you to try a bunch of new stuff in that regard. We're really aiming for each note having its own line so we can play more melodies and get some more interesting stuff and improvise on the fly, which also means you can make up new chords whenever you want and interpret them in any way you so choose. One more example for you, just off the top of my head, was something I came up with at the end of this tune, Stardust. So what you want to do is you want to come up with some new chords, a new movement, right? So the way I did that was I decided, how am I going to end this tune in a new fancy way? So I decided to start a chromatic scale. The tune is in D flat. I decided to start the chromatic scale on the note G and walk all the way up to D flat. So that would be this. So here's your lick of the day. If I don't really advocate for licks, I advocate for more of understanding. But my lick of the day is right here. So at the end of Stardust, I decided I will keep the top note, which is the tonic, at the end of the song, and I'll walk through a chromatic scale going out of the key with harmony. So the top note becomes a different meaning on each chord. On the first chord, this is A over G, and then A flat sus 4, A7 with a 9, B flat sharp 9, B sus with the 9 on top, C7 flat 9, and then to D flat 7 sharp 11 with the G in the middle. So here's what that sounds like. It's pretty interesting, right? So I came up with that basically just from thinking of a chromatic scale going the opposite direction and changing the meaning of the top note, which it is the same top note, but it takes you into all these different keys. So I think the qualities of a pro are to be able to justify your mistakes. That's a really important thing. If you are just playing the song the way you learned it every time, it's not necessarily that it's boring or wrong. It's just that I don't think you're a master. There's no new things every time. And that's not even to say that new things every time are good. It's just that you want to have that level of understanding to where you could put new things if you so chose and then don't, right? And having that level of understanding it'll bleed into every aspect of your playing. So in essence, don't memorize chords. Learn how harmony can move. And once you do that, you can improvise freely with confidence and sound like you know what you're doing. If this helped you, please hit like. Subscribe if you want more videos that help you sound better. And drop a comment if you want me to break this down even further. If you have any questions for me, you can reach me at contactlands@proton.me. And if you want to talk to me further about this, you can also schedule a lesson with me through my Calendly link in the description. So much appreciated. Thank you so much.